Hi, hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm KC, and I cover everything from music video and song reactions to song covers, album reviews, song reviews, and my own music. So if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Today, I'm going to be going over something a little bit different than what I usually do, but it's still music related. It's just not going to be a reaction or anything or a review. Today, I don't know how many of y'all have been hearing, but there's been a huge feud with Taylor Swift, Scooter Braun, and her old manager, Scott Bruschetta. And it's huge in the music industry. A lot of this is just a bunch of like contractual stuff. And I studied the music business when I was in college. I've been out of it for a few years now, but I still remember like the meat of it. So I just wanted to kind of explain it to people who weren't aware of it or who had any questions. I mean, I'm not an expert, I'm not a lawyer or anything, so I don't know all the legalities of all this, and I don't think anybody really does except for Taylor Swift, Scooter Braun, and Scott Bruschetta. But I can tell you what I do know from like public stuff, and I just want to get y'all's opinions and what I want to know what y'all think about this whole thing. Um, Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. I've been a Taylor Swift fan for about 10 years now, so I've pretty much seen her like from the beginning. I mean, not in the very very beginning, but at the near the beginning. The first song I ever liked of hers was Teardrops on My Guitar, and then after that I got her Fearless album when she was going a little bit more pop, a little bit more mainstream. Like I wasn't really there for her whole country thing, but I still love her old stuff. But before I really wanted to delve into this, I didn't want to just automatically just take her side. Even though I'm a huge fan, like, and I do believe her, I don't feel like she has any reason to lie. Like, I don't know what she would benefit from that, but I do. I did want to come into it with an open mind, and just like think logically about it, and just try to look at all aspects of everything before I make my decision. But it is safe to say that I stand with Taylor. But after much research, I didn't just hop on it just because of who she is. On June 30th is when this whole thing, well, publicly began. She put on her Tumblr post and her IG that she had no idea that her masters were being sold to Scooter Braun. She knew that they were going to be sold, but she didn't know who to. And they were sold to Scooter Braun. Well, not just her masters. Big Machine, the label she was with, Big Machine. Everybody's masters was sold to him for $300 million from Scott Bruschetta. Scott Bruschetta was her former manager. He pretty much discovered Taylor Swift. They met when she was like 14 at a Bluebird Cafe in Nashville, and he just came up to her. He didn't even have like his record label really off the ground yet, and so yeah, they really worked from the ground up with each other, and he helped her out a lot. She helped her. They would not be where they are now without each other, because her success and her fans and her popularity brought him more artists to Big Machine label, but he also helped really manage her, really put her out, did a good job of promoting her and getting her out there and getting her successful. So mutually they helped each other out a lot. But she feels so betrayed because she she got into this really bad BS contract. She said that she wasn't even able to purchase her masters. They were sold for $300 million, which she has, but she didn't have the option to unless she stayed with Big Machine Records for another, I don't know how many, pretty much her life. Like, it sounded like just a sentence. She said that she could have gotten her masters, but she would have to have one earned back. Everything from her back catalog from the beginning of her discography, like, her first 6 albums, she'd have to do one album to get one back, to earn one back. So for her 7th album, Lover, let's say if she was still with Big Machine, she would have had to do Lover, and then that way she would have gotten Taylor Swift back, her first album, then do her 8th album and get Fearless back, and so on, and etc. And she just didn't feel like she called it a hamster wheel, deal, and I agree with that. I mean, you're basically, I just think that's BS he didn't have any trouble selling it to somebody else, but it's her music. And I just want y'all to think about this way too. if you have ever created anything, it doesn't even have to be super artistic. Like if you've just created something you're proud of, that anything that you're proud of, like if you've built something, if you've cooked something, I don't know, or if you've written something, whatever. Think of like your one of your proudest achievements or something that you're really proud of that you created, and let's say that you got really successful. Let's say you profited off of that. Okay, now think about an enemy of yours, just any enemy that you have. Think about them being able to buy your creation and then they profit off of it. I feel like that's the simplest way I can explain how Taylor Swift feels. And I just think that that's so messed up. Like, she said that, I mean, Scott Bruschetta denies that she had told him about Scooter Braun and, her distaste for him, but I don't really believe that's true. Especially just given the track record she has with Justin Bieber, which I know they're not the same person, but they both work really closely together. If y'all don't know who Scooter Braun is, the reason I know who he is because of Justin Bieber, because I saw Never Say Never when it came out in theaters, like the biopic that Justin Bieber did. Scooter Braun pretty much put Justin Bieber on the map. Like, he discovered him on YouTube. He discovered Justin Bieber and he managed him, and now he manages a lot of people. He manages Ariana Grande, Tori Kelly, Demi Lovato. He did manage Hilary Duff and Todrick Hall, which is also Taylor Swift's friend, Todrick Hall. But he did manage them. He's managed a whole lot of people. He's a big deal. When he was just like a party promoter, college kid, and when he was in his early 20s, and he's gone from that to being this like big businessman and a big deal in the music industry. But Taylor has said that he has bullied her, and he has kind of showed some of that publicly. She said that in a post where she put a picture up of him in the background, like looks like him and like Kanye are laughing, kind of like doing something in the background on FaceTime with Justin Bieber, and Justin Bieber puts on his Instagram caption, "Taylor Swift, what up?" I remember seeing that post when it first went out, and I did think it was kind of shady, but I didn't like read too much into it, because it was around the time that she had that whole fallout like publicly with Kanye West, and people were calling her a snake and this and that. But I just didn't completely know what it was about, and at the time, Scooter Braun was Kanye West's manager, and he had pretty much given a green light for Kanye West to put out the famous music video, which she didn't even like the song to begin with. And I know she wasn't on board with the music video, especially because it showed her naked. It showed a lot of celebrities naked. It was like Rihanna, Chris Brown, and I forgot who else, but I know Taylor Swift was in it too. And she's like, she didn't even want the line out in the song, let alone a music video with her naked in it. And so she feels like, Scooter Braun had a hand in that. She felt betrayed that this is the person who's now owning her masters, who has control over when or how her music's gonna be used and everything. So I would feel some type of way about that too. And I knew it wasn't completely over in June, but I wasn't expecting this whole thing to come up recently, a couple weeks ago, where she was saying that she can't even perform her songs at the AMAs as she is gonna receive the Artist of the Decade award. And think about that, and you not even being able to play your own songs. Like, that is just messed up on so many different levels. And just because it's not even the fact of her, well, I read on here on a lot of different sites. Like I said, I did my research, so it's like on credible sources like vulture.com, People, because People is one of the magazines that don't lie. But yeah, they said that it wasn't so much the fact of her playing the songs, is that it would be considered a re-recording, because if people recorded it and put it on YouTube, then that's where it becomes an issue. And what I don't get is that I feel like the only reason Scooter and Scott are saying anything now is because she publicly said she wanted to re-record her masters. Because she was playing her songs when Lover came out, when her album came out. She was playing her old songs on Good Morning America, and nothing was said then, and people, I feel like recorded that and put it on YouTube, and whatever other shows she was doing around that time, there was nothing said. But then when she said that publicly she was going to re-record all her masters is when it became an issue. That's when they wanted to control her and say that she couldn't perform her back catalog at the AMAs. So she said she felt like she ran out of options. So she took to Twitter and Instagram and Tumblr and everything again and told, her fans what was going on, and even said that she had a Netflix documentary that couldn't even use her previous songs in her back catalog, which would be so messed up if they're doing, I don't know what kind of documentary it would be, but just, nobody, if you're doing like a whole history and documentary of somebody, you want to know from the beginning. Like you want to hear everything from the beginning from a music artist, not just their most recent things, because you're introducing this person to people who aren't familiar with them. But she basically told her fans the situation that she's in, and she said she didn't, nobody's been coming to terms with anything, and she wanted them to reach out to Scott Bruschetta and to Scooter Braun specifically, because Scooter Braun's he's on, social media. I don't think Scott Bruschetta is. I think he's a little older, so, but Scooter Braun still is, so he's been getting more of the heat than Scott, I feel like. And what they had failed to mention was there's a lot of loopholes in this. And yeah, like I said, I am not a lawyer, so don't come for me in the comments. I'm just telling you what I know publicly. And there are loopholes in this whole contract, and, I don't know what all. But it said that they never blocked her from performing at the AMAs, but they didn't acknowledge claims that they were withholding performance of her catalog, and said that this boiled down to the fact that Swift allegedly owes the label millions of dollars, but her publicist retorted that they're the ones who allegedly owe her money, not the other way around. So, yeah, it's just really convoluted and sticky, so I don't know. But, I mean, like I said, I stand with Taylor Swift. I believe her. It's not like this is the first time anything like this has happened anyway. This is a whole history of stuff like this happening in the music industry. This is the norm. This is common, especially for a young, naive artist. Like, people are definitely going to take advantage of them and prey on them. So, like I said, I don't feel like what would benefit her from lying about this, and, like, why would she, she obviously wants to play her song. She wants to own her music. Why would she wouldn't just make any of this up. But yeah, she is going to be able to legally perform at the AMAs. And yeah, like I said, it wasn't even the fact of her performing, but it's just the fact of copycat versions. And I'm going to read something that I read online that is credible. It says, Tiffany Almy, an attorney at Rothenberg, Moore and Binder LLP, it's a powerhouse firm formed in 2018 with clients like Top Dog Entertainment and Calvin Harris. Explains that a label may claim that such a performance is a re-recording, but that any restriction in place usually isn't intended to prevent an artist from doing so in a situation like this. It seems counterintuitive, especially when the artist is the recipient of an award. Yeah, being presented and the promotional value of such a performance is mutually beneficial to both the label and the artist. So yeah, I think that definitely explains better than I could some of the legalities of this whole situation. Now Scooter Braun is coming out to say that he's been getting death threats from Taylor Swift's fans, and even when this first surfaced back in June, a lot of people close to Scooter came to his defense, like his wife and Justin Bieber and some other people, and just said that, he's not a bully, like he's a good man, this and that, and they said that, you should resolve this privately, and, but then we also have the other side of a lot of Taylor's friends coming out and saying, well, if you would have resolved it privately, she wouldn't have to go to it publicly and, try to tell people what she's going through, because you're obviously, like, hindering her artwork, and now her performances. I think it's right for anybody to get death threats. I don't believe in that at all, and I don't think that's Taylor's intention. And Scooter Braun did say that. He's like, I don't think that this was your intention, but your words are, they hold weight. And I feel like it all could have been avoided if he hadn't bullied her in the first place, because I don't know. I don't want to say, yeah, like I said, death threats aren't right in any way, especially he has, like, 2 young kids and everything like that, but nothing would have escalated to this point if people had done right by one another. And I won't say like Scooter's fully to blame. I won't say Scott's fully to blame. And there's a lot of things that we don't know. But I do think that, I don't know, going forward, maybe somebody will learn a lesson in this. And I do feel like Taylor's still going to re-record her recordings. I don't know what the future is for what she's allowed to do with her music from now until she does re-record all her masters, because she can't do that until November 2020. But so I don't know what is gonna be of like the Lover Fest that she's going on, the tour. I don't know if she can mainly perform her lover songs, or like if she can actually perform her past songs, like, because that would be the same issue of people re-record, putting it on YouTube and doing everything like that. So I did actually find something that I think explains that as well, because I was really confused about that. I was like, well, I mean, yeah, like, is she gonna just not be able to perform any of her songs before she re-records them? And she said that everything is a question mark. It says she will be able to perform songs from her back catalog, but that means that there'll be no DVD release of the concert or high production HBO tour documentary if she does perform her old songs. So, I mean, that sucks too. I mean, it's just not a good situation for her. She isn't the first artist to get involved in something like this. I know she won't be the last. She's said, like, one of the main reasons of her putting this publicly is to bring awareness to new artists who are coming into the industry, so that they won't be in a situation like this. This has just been nothing new. Like, I know JoJo had to re-record her song. Like, I don't know the legalities of her contract, what they were either, but I know that for years, like, she wasn't able to put out new music, and then you couldn't even find her debut album or her sophomore album on any kind of streaming, like any Spotify, anything like that. All you could find it on was YouTube. So she went and re-recorded her debut album and her sophomore album like earlier this year, and it took a long time for her to even be able to do that. And there's a Prince who was into a really bad deal, because people obviously know, or a lot of people know, that that's why he changed his name into a symbol so he could get out of that, which is actually genius. But yeah, I would hope that she's the last, but in a perfect world, but I know she won't be the last to be involved in something like this. And I just wanted y'all to know that I do stand with her, and I'll support her in any way possible. I do want y'all to let me know what y'all think about it. Even if you're not a Taylor Swift fan, let me know what you think of the situation, and any other further comments y'all have, just put them in the comment section. Or it's something anything I didn't cover, or if I do have anybody who's better familiarized with any of this, any like legal lawyers, anybody watching this, just go ahead and inform me down in the comments below. I might actually have to do a follow-up video to this, because it's just like I thought it was done in June, but it's not, and who knows what's gonna come next. Like, there's something new every day. I have my special guest coming back today. She interrupted my video, but say hey. Olivia. But we both stand with Taylor, and we want to know what your opinions are on the whole situation. And we will see y'all next time. If you enjoyed my video, leave it a like. Until next time, bye!